How's it going? I hope you guys are all having an awesome time maneuvering your way through these crazy crowds. This is so busy today, it's insane. So, my name is Jeanette Martel. I'm vegan, an animal rights activist, and Canada Outreach Coordinator for Vegan Outreach. We are a non-for-profit organization that's been around for over 24 years and working to end violence towards animals. Our main yearly focus is our outreach and tours, where awesome coordinators from all over travel. And with the help of volunteers, educate students by handing out a variety of vegan outreach booklets, holding virtual reality viewings, and presentations to universities and colleges all over. Now, before I continue on, I'd like to mention an awesome opportunity to help the organization do even more for the animals this year. We only have 4 days left on our No Overhead Challenge, where an anonymous donor has generously covered all of our overhead costs. So you can give now until May 31st, knowing your whole donation will go towards helping animals. These donations go directly towards helping us put more vegan literature into the hands of millions of students, sharing delicious samples to curious non-vegans, and open source to veganism with nutrition info, social support, and mentoring. Now, to continue on these tours, I'm so lucky to be able to meet so many beautiful and amazing people. The changes happening right now are amazing, and we all know the animals need all the help they can get. There's so many people curious to go vegan, are interested in making the switch, or are ready to become an activist. This is incredible. But with that being said, something I noticed on tour last year was a lot of suffering, not only with animals, but with people all over. Many were struggling a lot in different ways, and it took big tolls on a lot of aspects of their lives. This happened with students and the public. When I returned home for the summer, I noticed these issues with the general public also. And a statement I think is safe to make is that the majority of people out there are feeling lonely and misunderstood in some way. When I realized that, I decided to go into my second tour with the idea of making my conversations with strangers be my main internet source. I wanted to learn more about people and what they felt and needed, and I wanted to be a place for them to feel safe releasing that to. And I added what I learned to my activism, which is why the tips I'm going to share with you today may be a bit different. Some of the basic tips for outreaching are smile, extend your arm fully, speak clearly, and thank people who take a booklet. These are all key tips in starting out for sure, but I'm going to go a bit deeper than that today. So my first tip is, number 1, connection. Making that connection is going to be so important to your conversations and the light you bring to that person. But that's not to say that you're only engaging in connecting for your agenda. You have to truly connect. Yes, discussing animal cruelty and the impact on our world is very important. Being that I'm out there to hand out vegan literature, this is how my conversations will start. But sometimes you will notice that people feel connected to you and that conversation may slightly go off track for a bit. I will admit, I used to find this frustrating at first as I just wanted everyone to know the information. But what I came to understand was that the more that I lean into that conversation with them without resistance, that when I do bring it back to animal rights, they are more open to receiving the information that is given. Remember, people won't remember what you said or did, they'll remember how you made them feel. When people feel good and that connection is made, they are more likely to remember what was said and look further into it, knowing they have support on the other side. Now, sometimes while you're out there, you will experience people who are in resistance to the information. They have a guard up and they're trying to give you a hard time. It can be easy to be set off in a defensive manner when this happens, but it's important to remember that hurt people, and that every single one of us desires a sense of belonging, wherever that may come from, but we all do. So if you meet that person with an aggressive response, they are more likely to feel a sense of belonging from the meat-eating society than from the vegan who attacked them. It's in your best interest and the animal's best interest for you to stay calm and respond appropriately. I learned this early on in my activism. We were a group of grassroots activists protesting Canada Goose and fur, and my chants always sounded so aggressive and angry. I was definitely in an angry vegan phase at that time. So one day, I was in my regular angry chanting mode, and an activist that I truly respect approached me and said, "I have a question for you. When you act like that, do you do it for you or for the animals?" Instantly, a light went off, and I realized that I had been acting from a place of my own anger to what I knew, not what was going to be the most effective for the animals and making a change with the public. I took a different approach from that point on. I'll still chant and megaphone when I join in at protests, but it's more educational. I'll share stories, give facts, any information that is relevant to that event and educating the public. When we're kinder, people are more willing to approach us to have a conversation. And if they're more willing to approach us to have a conversation, we have a better chance of making that connection and having them look further into it. Now, sometimes while you're out there, you will also experience people who are totally in resistance and that connection just won't be made. When this happens, it is okay to politely disengage. If you feel uncomfortable or like your time is being wasted, please understand it's okay to politely disengage. You can always thank someone for their time and chat, but that you're going to get back to outreaching and you wish them a great day. Sometimes staying in these conversations is more energy draining or it can cause too many nerves to be effective. And sometimes you may want to challenge yourself and continue in that conversation, and that's great. Either way, just trust your instincts. And if you do continue, my next tip will be great for you. Tip number 2, breathing. This might sound so basic, and you may be asking, why the heck is breathing a tip? The reason I discuss this is because when we learn to breathe deep and properly, we can allow ourselves to hold on to a more calm and relaxed state. As mentioned above, there will be times when you are challenged, when you don't know what to say, when you decide to step out of your comfort zone and try something new, or when your feelings and emotions come into the mix. If you feel anxiety coming on, it's always okay to take a deep breath. There is never an inappropriate time to take a deep breath. If you need it, and you're in the middle of a sentence, go for it. Sometimes people need a moment to take in what you're saying anyways, and if it will allow you to deliver the rest of that message better, then I believe you are meant to take that deep breath. They say the most powerful person in the room has the most relaxed breath. I think that's something for us to take into our daily lives and interactions. But it's not about being the most powerful person, but there's definitely something to be said about the effects of a relaxed breath. I also try and start my outreaches with a 5-minute meditation to put me in a good frame of mind. This is an effective way to stay grounded, will also help you connect further to the people that you're interacting with, and will help things come to you that will affect change faster. Number 3, this is my favorite one. Use your personality. Don't be shy to be yourself out there, whoever that is. I don't recommend trying to be like someone else thinking you'll get the same results. You may, but wouldn't you rather get those results by putting that little extra spark into it that you have? It's a lot more fun, and I find it not only helps you smile more vibrantly and naturally, but you'll have a better take rate and conversation rate also. Learn the information, number 4, sorry. Learn the information that you're about to hand out, and be as educated as possible. Mention just a little bit extra about the booklet when handing it out. This little bit of extra engagement will not only help the interest in reading the material right away, but also in generating good conversations. Be as relatable as possible and see that interest peak even more. Speak with confidence and learn information, but also go into every conversation knowing you have something to learn. Whether that be about the person you're talking to, about yourself, or about veganism, your tactic, or your approach, you'll always have something to learn. And knowing that can generate so many amazing conversations. This can also help with nerves and anxiety that come up, and unfortunately many of us deal with anxiety. Being someone that used to get panic and anxiety attacks multiple times a day for 8 months, I know it can be a truly awful experience, and I'll never make someone feel like it is invalid. But what I have come to learn over the years is the more that we lean into that uncertainty and allow ourselves to feel that anxiety, the more strength we get in that area also, and the more we're willing to put ourselves out there. Learning about yourself also. Do you know that you will get anxious talking to the public and being asked questions? Then prep for it. Learn information and gain confidence as you do it. And please do not be afraid to make mistakes out there. You will get better with every conversation and learn how to answer them best for the animals. And just know the animals would rather have you out there trying and making mistakes to learn from than not at all. You got this. And ultimately, all of these tips summarize to love, which is my final tip. Number 5, love. This is truly where your power comes from. When you connect internally to that core part of you that is love, and you realize that's all that matters, that's when you'll naturally see these shifts happening with people that you're engaging with, whether it be a positive or a negative interaction. When you focus on responding from that core part of you, you'll have things come to you that'll affect change faster. Understanding that beyond how your mind may want to respond, it's better to stay calm and react appropriately. Because again, hurt people, and in these situations, your love may be what they need. When people say rude or disrespectful comments, I like to throw it up from a place of love. I respond in a chill manner that gets them thinking, because I've had people on numerous occasions mention that they like to try and get a rise out of vegans. For example, I had this experience at an Earthling hearing once, and I approached these 2 guys watching and asked them what they thought. One was vegetarian and open to learning more, and the other one was out to give me a hard time. No matter what I said, this guy had a response. I tried absolutely everything, and I was acting from that core part of me. I brought up the cruelty to animals, he said it didn't affect him. I brought up health concerns, he said he didn't care. Brought up the environmental concerns, again, he didn't care about that either. I even brought up how going vegan can increase sexual performance, and how eating meat can lead to erectile dysfunction, and again, he said he didn't care. Then he mentioned how he is just a shitty person. But he continued talking, listening to information, and didn't leave. He made that comment again about being a shitty person. But throughout our interaction, I noticed something in him and his energy was changing. I looked at him with total sincerity and said, I would like to disagree. I believe I see something in you that you don't see in yourself quite yet. And I know that there's something in you that you haven't tapped into. He looked at me totally shocked. And I confirmed it again. We ended up talking more, and he told me that every single time that he sees vegans or vegetarians, he goes out of his way to get a reaction. And that this was the first time he had never not been successful. He ended up thanking me for the information, the conversation, asking for a booklet where he originally declined, and saying that he was going to look further into it, and I really made him think. This is always going to be a standout interaction for me, and it is because no matter what, I was acting from that core part of me that is love. I believe in the power of love more than anything, and I believe forming a memorable bond with somebody will always be important. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." Now, self-love is important in that also. That means listening to your needs and being okay with them. I have disengaged from conversations before because I didn't feel that my energy was in the right place to make impact with that person, or that they would affect my ability to be effective with the rest of the public. Disengaging from a place of love is alright. If on most days you can handle the tough ones and some days you just can't, that's fine. We have to be cautious of not overloading ourselves out there. Being an animal rights activist is so unbelievably important, and it can be easy to want to be as involved as possible, making it to activist events, constantly researching, dealing with trolls, watching footage of animal cruelty, or bearing witness and connecting to animals you know will die moments later. These are all things that can take a major toll on us if we're not careful. Burnout is real, and it can affect every single one of us. We need to be cautious of when it starts and avoid it from happening. So, what I'd like people to focus on today is to find what you can do that you can do consistently and sustainably. Consistency and sustainability. I will say it again because it's that important. This is going to be different for everyone, but figure out what is sustainable for you that you can do consistently. Whether that be 3+ times a week or a couple times a month, great. Just figure out what is consistent and sustainable for you. This is so unbelievably important. We need as many people out there as possible showing that spark, using their gifts and talents to create change for the animals. So please do not be scared to get out there for them. Believe in your power to bring more peace and love into this world and help us blast the cruelty out of it. As I like to say, do what you can when you can. And as Dr. Sue says, always remember, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you know. You got this. Don't be scared. Get involved in activism.